those who are watching around the world on Channel 2, Fountain City TV, and everyone else. We're excited to be here at today's press event where we're just celebrating progress at the city. I want to thank these gentlemen who have done so much work. So I got elected to office actually as mayor back in 2019. And everybody was talking about how raggedy our streets and roads were. Councilman Curls joined me in 2023. And what we have been so proud to see is change in every part of Kansas City. In every community, you have smooth driving surfaces. In every community, we're not just filling potholes, but we are building safer, better streets long term. And part of that is thanks, of course, to you, our citizens, and our taxpayers. But another part is due to the determination of our city staff. It starts with our city council, and thank you all for year after year in these budgets, even in tough times. I remember in 2020, 2021, we wondered if we have enough money for everything. But we said we're going to make sure that we invest in our infrastructure program. I thank our staff, our city manager, Brian Platt, who came here and said we can do better and we must do better and we will. And certainly those who are out there doing this work each and every day, from Public Works to everybody who's working on the roads with us. Thank you. I'm proud today to announce that we have surpassed 1,500 lane miles resurfaced in Kansas City. That is about 25% of all of Kansas City's roads throughout our city, in every part of our city. 25%. That is what we've done just since 2021. 25% of the roads in the city. And in case you're wondering what that distance is, that would be enough to resurface roadway between here and Portland, Maine. And so we have seen that work. We've done a quarter of the city, but as my friends sometimes say, we are not done yet. We know that there's a lot more work to do on the resurfacing side. We're making sure that no longer will there be that description of Kansas City as a place where the roads aren't great. We want to have the best roads, the best neighborhoods, the safest city, and this is one part of it. And as a guy who, when I was running for office years ago, talked about potholes and progress, I am proud that we found a way to really address them long term. Resurfacing roads, rebuilding our infrastructure network, and making sure that we are truly built for the 21st century and long after. So thank you all for being here. We'll come back with questions. We're happy to celebrate on this brisk November day. We'll go through all the comments, then we'll come back and answer your hard-nosed questions. But for now, I turn it over to my friend, my colleague, and the OG of the 5th District, Councilman Darrell Curls.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for being here today. It's another great day in the 5th District. I'm glad to invite you all out here today to celebrate this milestone. Once again, as the Mayor says, you know, we have resurfaced 1,500 miles of streets. And this roadway actually is a testament of one of those streets. Because I remember when I first got elected into office, which was about 15 months ago, I drove down this street and it was terrible. I didn't want to drive back down it again. And several of the neighbors down here complained to me about it as this not being one of those streets that the city takes care of. But you look at it now, you drive down it now, it's a much smoother roadway, it's a much better condition. So one of the things that we ran on, and I'm sure that the mayor did too, was resurfacing streets. Because that was what the citizens wanted to see done. You look at citizen satisfaction surveys, roads, potholes, and street resurfacing were the top priorities. So to stand here today and to say that we have done 1,500 miles of street resurfacing, which is a quarter of the city streets, I think is great news for our constituents, for our city, and for this council. And although we did 500, I think, last year, we did 300 this year, but we're moving straight ahead, okay? And it's going to get better as we go forward. So I just want to say thank you to the staff, thank you to Public Works, thank you to everybody who had a hand in this, because it not only makes the streets safer, but it makes our city look a lot better as well. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our city manager, Brian Platt.
People's thank you.
Hey everyone, thank you so much. So first, I'd like to echo the comments thanking the staff, Mark and Garrett, and the entire street preservation team. It has never been a no from them. It's It's a how high do we jump? We're just going to jump as high as we can. And every year we joke, we set a goal and we break it, and we set a higher goal and we break it. And so last year we did 519 lane miles of streets. That's 3.7 times the historic average. That's a phenomenal number, a phenomenal improvement, investing in infrastructure that is so very much needed for residents of Kansas City. There are a couple of important ways, there are a couple of important reasons why we're so successful here. One is we're investing in technology that uses cameras to digitally analyze every square inch of pavement in Kansas City to make sure we know exactly where all the problems are, exactly where all the potholes, imperfections, divots, all those things that make road quality poor. We know about them, and we're prioritizing roads in that way. We've got higher standards and accountability for excavations that inevitably happen in our streets. Now, if you cut into a street that's less than 5 years old, you're resurfacing curb to curb, full lane width to make sure that the quality of our roads continue. We're looking at new types of materials to mix into our asphalt so that our streets last longer but also have lower impacts on the environment. Story that we love to talk about is our Trash to Roads program, where we're taking plastic and rubber recycled materials and turning it into new asphalt. And I think the most important thing for us is we're just being super aggressive with how we're addressing infrastructure, maintenance, and repairs and improvements here. The numbers that you're hearing speak for themselves. 519 miles last year, 1,500 miles since we started this new approach just over 3 years ago. 25% of the city. That's phenomenal. It really is amazing, and it's been a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be a part of this team doing amazing work for our residents. So I'm done now.
It always rolls like that. Well, we're excited to celebrate too. I believe, Brian, we have installed more than 115 speed bumps as well. And if you are interested in making sure that we address traffic safety in your neighborhood, let us know by contacting us at 311, or you can download the MyKCMO app and say, we want to make sure that traffic is calm and safe in our neighborhoods. It's not just a story of building better roads, but also safer ones, and we're proud to do that. Ultimately, we're excited to make Kansas City the best big city to live in America. This is just one key step. Infrastructure is a part of it. But resurfacing a quarter of our streets in 4 years is a big deal. We look forward to more ahead, and it is fundamentally different than the Kansas City I grew up in, and I think that's a sign of our staff, some of who have been around for a while, but who are doing absolutely exceptional work each and every day. So thank you all for being here. Are there any questions? Hay preguntas for anyone? Yes?
Mr. Mayor, what you had mentioned, you guys are not done. There's more to do. So with that in mind, what do you want to say to people who see a number like that, but then look out in their own neighborhood and say, I don't see any of this progress? Do you have plans to keep paving for the rest of the year, or wait till it's warmer out?
So, we do wrap up our resurfacing here soon just because of the weather. What we're going to do is build out the most robust list of streets to improve next year. Let us know, right? Our good folks here on staff want to hear about streets that need attention, so contact us at 311. Download the MyKCMO app. You can tell the city, hey, this is what we need to do. And in many ways, I think this has improved. In years past, we were a little bit, I don't know, if as well laid out on how we're resurfacing, what standards we're using. Now I think we have good articulable plans in terms of how we do it. And so we know we'll never be perfect, and we know once we finish all of this, apparently in the next 12 years, then we'll need to probably go back and do it again. But to be on pace to get all this done in 16 years, if our successors follow this same plan, I think it's outstanding for the people of Kansas City. And I think it's hard to talk to a Kansas Citian who hasn't seen improvement. We've done these types of events in Southeast Kansas City today, in Northeast Kansas City, Midtown, Northland, everywhere throughout our city. We're proud of it. We think we're a model for any city in our entire region. Any other questions for you? I'll talk to you later, but God bless you, though, for being here as well. Anything else?
I have a question for the city manager, if I may.
Okay, as long as it's nice. Go ahead. Uh-oh. It's zoomed in.
Can you go into a little more detail about how you're reusing trash and putting that into the street material? We've all heard the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Is this really one person's trash is Kansas City's treasure to better roads? Just how does it work?
Absolutely.
Material?
Yeah, our Trash to Roads program is so interesting. So thinking about all of the waste that we produce across the city, there's rubber, there's plastic, there's things that we don't have another use for. Can we find a way to turn them into asphalt for new roads? And thinking about reducing the amount of waste going to landfills, but also making sure that the environmental impact of our asphalt is less. If we're using more recycled materials, we're not having to take from other places and produce more and create more carbon emissions and that sort of thing. There's also a potential benefit there to make the pavement quality last longer, to make the pavement last longer. These types of materials might serve to sort of help it all stay together and serve as a better glue to make the roads last longer. So we've got a couple of test areas that we're working on different types of mixes of materials to see what works best for us. I'm really excited about it.
Is that testing area local, and you get the track locally, like from the city?
Yeah. Ideally, down the road, pun intended, we would have an ecosystem where we could take these materials directly from the local economy here and divert them from our landfills and put them right into facilities that turn them into asphalt here, so that we're not having to take things from other places. We're reusing inside Kansas City.
All right. We didn't talk baseball or Taylor Swift, so we'll get out of Dodge. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you. All right.
All right.
That's good.
Everything's great.